Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and my favorite thing ever is a business you can start whether you have a lot of money or if you don't have a lot of money. So the good thing about a car wash is I spoke to somebody and they were like, on my first day, Tommy, I made $800 and I freaked out by having a car wash. Now you can do this, for example, by owning a franchise, by owning a spot where you actually have employees and so on, or just by having a bucket or a pressure washer, and then boom, you are officially in business. So in this video right here, guys, we're going to go into detail, for example, how much it costs to get into the business, what are the ongoing expenses, and on top of that, exactly how much you can expect to actually profit. And if you're wondering, Tommy, where did you get this idea from? Well, guys, you guys know me. I am very frugal, aka pretty cheap, okay? So I took my car to the car wash, and by the way, I had this car for over a year. I've washed it literally less than 5 times. That tells you how often I go to the car wash, okay? But this time, the price went up because the price of everything is going up. So I paid like 30 bucks for the car wash in like outside and also like indoor. And on top of that, like the whole like sparkling thing was like $5 plus a $5 tip. It was $40 to get this car washed, okay? And I was like, I gotta get my money's worth here. Long story short, the owner is there and I asked him over 20 plus questions about how do you get started? What are your expenses? How much money do you make? What do you have? And by the end of it, the owner was exhausted, but he answered every question. And I said, hey, you know what? I would have paid you $10,000 for that information because that information costs a lot of money, right? Because someone is telling you every detail about how to start a business, and now I'm going to pass it on to you guys because I turned $40 into a lot of money. That's what I do. Whenever I go somewhere, I want to get information to get my money's worth. And by the way, smash the like button and top out. Also, if you're new here, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. We post content every single week, and you don't want to miss out on it because usually this content makes you money. It just doesn't entertain you. Now, the very first thing, guys, is if you want to start a car wash, this is a business. And like every business, there are certain things you need to put money into to actually get started. And by the way, if you have an idea in your head where you're saying, Tommy, I'm gonna get this location, I'm gonna build up this car wash, get all the machinery, and then get my customers and my employees, it's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be awesome, a new franchise, that's a stupid idea, okay? Sorry, gotta say. Usually, whenever it comes to a car wash, laundromats, barber shops, like gas stations, all these businesses, usually it's better to buy them used. They already have the business established, all the equipment is already there, you're buying it for a massive discount, you also have the employees and also the loyalty of the customers that used to go there. And the ones that didn't go there because the spot wasn't so nice, once you have a refreshed look, that instantly gets more people in the door. So usually, you don't want to build these things because it can cost you a lot of money. And I'm talking about, might be like 100,000, might be like 500,000, might be in the millions. They can cost you a lot of money to build you a brand new car wash. Absolutely makes no sense and it's not necessary whatsoever, okay? Now, when you're gonna be having this car wash, before you even have the idea, you gotta think about if you wanna do it officially or if you wanna do it, under the books. Under the books. You can pay some money and, pay taxes and so on. You pay cash. I'm not telling you to do that, by the way. That is illegal. And as you guys know, I am an accountant and I preach for the IRS because I love the IRS and I do not want to get in trouble. But you got to know, is this going to be official or is it going to be something I'm going to build up to making it official? Like, honestly, okay? But overall, if you do want to make it official, you need an LLC. Limited liability corporation. This basically limits your liability to make sure that if something happens, they can't come after your personal assets and you're basically protected. It separates you from the actual business. On top of that, you have certain permits you might need depending on where you live and what they actually need for you to actually get started, okay? That's also very important. You also need insurance because depending on the type of car wash you actually want to start, if there is a fire or if there is a flood, just kidding, okay? But if there is like a technical fire or somebody slips, somebody wants to sue you, right? Having insurance is going to be a massive help. On top of that, you're also going to need, for example, a bookkeeper or bookkeeping software along with an accountant, CPA to actually help you do the taxes. Because by the way, do you think you're going to be able to track all those dollar bills you get, all the tips? The answer is probably not. And by the way, for everyone saying out there, well, I just won't report all of it, okay? Just won't report it. I'll report whatever I want. That's a very stupid idea because, reporting everything to the IRS is a great idea because eventually, one, it takes a lot of effort to lie to them. And if you get caught, the juice is not worth the squeeze, in my opinion. So having, for example, like a software like QuickBooks or like a bookkeeper you pay to actually do your whole taxes or whatever, right? That is going to help you a ton. Everything stays managed. Whenever you want to apply for a mortgage or an investment property, everything is in order. And last thing, you need to establish a brand. So I don't go on Google and type in, for example, car wash near me. I always go on Google Maps or Apple Maps. So having your business registered within those platforms is going to help you out a lot. Having a phone number, having, for example, a social media presence, whether you have one follower and that's your grandpa, it doesn't matter. Just being present is going to make a difference while you build up your customer base and everything else, okay? Now, that's that. That's the basic, boring stuff that you're probably going to need for your protection and to actually have something established, okay? I know, it's a lot, all right? But now let's get into the 3 levels of starting a car wash because this is where things actually get interesting because you can have, for example, a beginner's car wash where you have, hey, what is this going to cost here, Tommy? Well, it involves you having a bucket, water, soap, and for example, like a little vacuum and some towels. That's it. That's all you really need. And there are videos on YouTube, for example, this guy named Christian Adam G, where he turned a penny into like a few $1,000s or whatever. He goes around with a bucket and some water, goes door to door knocking, and washes cars for $20, and then boom, before you know it, he's built up to having some money, all right? That's a way to get it done. Obviously, not the most like luxurious way to do it, but it is a way if you just want to get started. On top of that, if you want to do it like the beginner way, also with like a pressure washer, those machines can cost you anywhere from $100 to $500 to $600-$700. But again, if you're just getting started, you don't need the best equipment ever. A vacuum is very important also for doing all of the indoor work on this entire car. And on top of that, having an inverter to actually, you know, because when you buy a pressure washer, you can either do like electric or gas powered. Gas powered usually more expensive, but if you have an inverter that's gas powered, you can get that for a little cheaper, and then just get like an electric power washer and then do the job just like that, which is great. Ryobi makes great inverter machines, and on top of that, they also make great power washers, but also Amazon has ones for $100 out there. Now, there's a question that you are probably asking here, which is, Tommy, well, if I have a pressure washer, I have the soap, I have the bucket, I have all the things I need, what about the water? Like, am I always going to need to use the customer's water source or find water somewhere else? The answer is no. They also sell like these little tanks that you can put in your van if you have a van or a car. And the answer is this tank is filled with water. And you can use that water with your pressure washer. But again, that gets a little bit more expensive. Like, the more convenience you want, the more expensive it gets. If you ask me, if I was just starting out, it would just be a bucket, everything I need, and then go house to house, basically just washing cars for $20-$30 and get that done. And if you can actually make those people or help those people help you by saying, hey, I'll wash your car once a month or twice a month. And if you sign up with me, I'll give you a special discount and I'll come here when you want me to come here and I'll get the job done. It's all about how you market yourself and how you make that person's life a lot more convenient, in my opinion. You don't need to have the best equipment, and also it won't really bother them. Like most people, if you say, hey, can I just like, can you fill this bucket up for me? Or I can connect right here to actually wash your car perfectly, that's fine. But that works when you're doing houses, not when you're doing, for example, buildings where there's no actual like water line anywhere. That's a lot more different. And that's where you see people actually have, for example, tanks in their vans and so on, okay? That's one way. That's the beginner way. But then you have, for example, the fixed location way. Remember the guy I told you about? Well, this guy, what I didn't tell you about is that guy actually made his initial capital by being a contractor and also being a male stripper. Not a joke. I promise you this, okay? And he made $800 the first day he actually had the car wash. And today he has a bunch of stuff I'll tell you later on in this video. But the idea is, what does he have? He has a fixed location. He bought this location that used to be a car wash, right, from somebody else that wanted to sell it for X amount of money. The money he paid for it doesn't matter because whatever you're going to pay for it is going to be different. It might be $100,000, $50,000, might be even the millions, okay? Because you might need a lot of money. Now, if you're buying this location, you're not paying for the location, you're paying for the business, because usually the land itself is somebody else's. So what you're really paying for is just the actual business that has the employees, that has the customers, that has all the equipment already there for you. That's what you're paying for. And usually when you're buying this stuff, you're gonna get a massive discount. That is the cool thing. And this way you don't have to build a spot from the ground up. You already have a customer base in a location where everyone knows there's obviously a car wash there. Now this guy here obviously has all the machines you need. He has 5 tents, so like every tent holds a car, just regular tents by the way, in this very flat parking lot type thing, right? So he has these 5 tents. He has these 3 to 5 pressure washers. He has the soap that he basically needs and all the equipment and so on. But that's basically it. And he has a few kids, usually kids that actually help him out clean the cars and wash the cars or whatever. And he probably pays them minimum wage. Minimum wage here is not that much money. And he obviously shares the tips with them because that's how you're supposed to do it. But the guy is pretty nice. But he made his initial money by being whatever he was, okay? None of my business. But the point is, if you want to start this out, it's not a bad idea to save up money while you're doing whatever else you're doing to build up to this, okay? But if you're starting out with no real amount of money, probably starting out the beginner way is a lot more feasible and a lot more easier, in my opinion, because having a location to pay rent on, employees and so on, that can be a lot more different. Now, the third level is the more passive level, okay? And this is basically the self-service car wash where all you have to do is, as a customer here, I just drive my car in, the car thing does all the washing for me, and then boom, I'm out, and the money has been left there, and you, the actual business owner, doesn't really have to do much. But that's the perspective, because there's a whole bunch of maintenance. Things break, things get very cold, things freeze, electric fires happen, people just bump into things. So this kind of goes a lot more into detail. That's why the IRS considers a car wash an active income source, not really a passive, because there are things you need to do as the owner. Now, I know my levels and my limits here. There's a guy that can tell you about this a lot better than I can. His name is Investment Joy, and he actually bought a few car washes and is actually going to buy a few more. And he does the whole like self-washing car wash stuff, and he actually had a big problem before with one of them. He made a video. I put the link down below. Go to his channel, subscribe, has a bunch of interesting videos, but most importantly, that car wash video gives you a level of understanding of what to expect when you actually want to get one of these locations. But again, this takes a little capital. It does, because you are buying an existing business with equipment and so on. And remember, right? Don't be deviated or feel like, this is too hard, because, for example, the equipment costs a lot of money and so on. Every business has its expenses. Even YouTube here, you have the expense of having a camera, a computer, and all this stuff. It's a part of the game. It's what's actually going to get you the money, okay? That's the idea. Now, obviously, those are the 3 ways to get started here, but there are actually other ways, because I didn't even touch, for example, car detailing. I didn't touch, for example, negotiating contracts with dealerships to actually wash their cars for them. I didn't even touch, for example, doing oil changes and filter changes aside with the car washes. There are a lot of ways to get involved in this business and to make additional money by upselling people on different things here and there. So there's a lot of awesome ways to get this done, but we would be here for over 40 minutes, and then that video would be like a whole movie, and I want to watch a movie later, so I want to get through this video, okay? Now, the second thing here is the ongoing expenses, and overall, you have obviously the equipment, the maintaining of the equipment, and also the replacing of that equipment. Now, there is one big thing here. The more you upgrade things thinking that it's going to become a lot more efficient is not usually the best thing to do, okay? If you can keep the equipment that does a great job, give it maintenance, and basically get money while you're doing it, great. Instead of going ahead and replacing the equipment with more expensive stuff, and then whatever money you're going to make is already eaten up by the equipment, okay? So having some equipment to maintain, keep it in good condition is going to be great, but sometimes you need to replace it, and that is fine. That is also a part of the game. Second, if you're going to have employees, and obviously they're going to be 1099s, meaning that they're contractors, you're not actually going to pay them like insurance and so on. So that's a part of the game too. Third, you also have products you're actually going to use. Most than everything here is water, electricity, and chemicals, and that's basically it. And obviously like the vacuums and everything else, right? But aside from that, like it's usually just like chemicals, water, and electricity. And when it comes to chemicals for car washes, guess what? There is a business within this business. So these things, you can actually buy them in bulk. That's always so interesting to me, how every business creates a new business. You have a person that said, I want to build a car. Now you have dealerships, you have car washes, you have people that sell products for cars and so on. Like, it's so amazing to me. Like, it's incredible. So even if you don't want to start a car wash, look for a business around the car and you can find one, right? It's pretty cool to me. Okay. And then lastly, the expenses that you're actually going to have here are going to be based on the amount of volume you basically do. Because if you're buying, for example, X amount of chemicals to clean these cars, but you're only doing one car a day, it's obviously going to last you a lot longer. The whole goal is to run out of things a lot faster because it means you're actually having a lot more volume. And the maintenance on things are actually going to be basically, again, based on the volume and the age of the equipment. And also, you also need to have a little luck here because, like Investment Joy, his thing caught on fire. Not a crazy fire, but it caught on fire. Equipment broke down. That's a part of the game, a part of the expenses, a part of being a part of the business, okay? It's just how things work. So the ongoing expenses, electricity, water, chemicals, employees if you have any, the maintenance of the equipment, replacement of the equipment, all that stuff is going to be a part of the game. And by the way, I'm also going to link down below an article that I also read to make this video, which has a bunch of details I couldn't fit into this video. Because now the last part of this video is going to be all about the profits. Again, this guy got the entire car wash, made $800 his first day. And I didn't tell you guys this, but the guy actually has 6 cars, right? He drives 6 cars, has his house, has a BMW, a Ram big truck, and I'm just like, wow, this guy has so much liabilities. You know, that's how I think, okay? That stuff does not impress me. It's just thinking like, oh my gosh, all these liabilities, I hope he survives, you know? But the best thing about a car wash, in my opinion, is that no matter what happens on Earth, people are gonna have cars. Whether cars are autonomous, they drive themselves, whether they're electric or gas powered, they still need to get washed. The main problem here becomes where if you have like another shutdown, though, obviously people aren't going to wash their cars because they're not going anywhere. That makes sense, right? But overall, it's a business that's going to be in business for a very long time. And it's also a business that can actually involve other businesses, right? You can have a car wash, but you can have the detailing inside of it. You can have, for example, hey, we're going to clean your beamers or whatever those things are called on the car to actually make it look a lot newer. We're going to do this to the car. We sell this accessory, the smell product. We also have a soda machine here while you wait, the snack machine here while you wait. We also have this candy machine here while you wait. There's a lot of interesting things you can actually do to increase your amount of money you actually make passively while you do this too, okay? You can make it passive, you can leave it active, you can have people manage it for you can delegate things. There's a bunch of other ways to get it done. But in my opinion, the best way to do it is first, I am a very boring guy and very basic. It's just who I am. I would rather work for somebody else's car wash first, learn all their secrets, and then slowly but surely, once I know everything that they know, and I can basically just steal the information for myself, I would grab that information and then just start my own car wash, whether it's as a beginner, whether it's a little bit more, I bought a location, or whether it's I just bought an automatic car wash that's actually self-cleaning. That stuff to me is cool, but just starting something out because you have some extra cash is probably very stupid because if you don't have the knowledge, you're probably just going to lose the money, and at that point, it really doesn't matter. But guys, thanks for watching this video. I'm going to do a lot more business videos, so if you're interested in a business, comment down below, let me know. I'll do my job. I'll do all the research. I'll go to somebody and be like, hey, how do you start this business? I plan on doing those videos pretty soon. But overall, I hope this actually helped you and it showed you different ways to actually get started here because there is money to be made here. Like, imagine if you watch 10 cars for 30 bucks a pops, that's $300. If you work 20 days in the whole month, you know, because you take weekends off, then guess what? You just made $6,000. I mean, that's no degree. That's no certificates. That's no college. That's no nothing. That's just you having a water in a bucket, okay, and some soap, obviously. And that's it. And that's pretty cool. And if you can get, for example, customers subscribe to you and you're like, oh, I'm around rich customers that have money. Well, I'll wash your car. I'll do your lawn and I'll change your oil. Like, that's amazing. That's like a great source of income. And once you have, for example, like a few people, customers, like let's say 30 or 50 or 100, well, now you hire somebody else to help you out, or a lot sooner, obviously. And you're like, I'm gonna hire this person to help you out, and then before you know it, you're doing more of the management than you are actually doing the actual washing and everything else. There's a lot of things to do with this business, and that's why I have a smile on my face, because it makes me so excited. So I hope this actually helps you a lot. Comment down below any questions, like this video, and on top of that, comment down below wash. This way I know you made it all the way to the end of the video. On top of that, here's another video on another business and how to start an ATM business. Here's my face. Click on subscribe. Thanks for watching. As always, long-term team out. Follow me on Instagram at TommyBryson. Peace.